Rat God Wednesday. Written by Bellamont. Read by The Viridian Ghost. This is part 4 of the Personality Swap AU. Summary. When he gets a text from Aizawa, he can't help but grin. Aizawa-sensei. If you fill out for it tomorrow, your person for tomorrow is Nedzu. Aizawa-sensei. What do you say, kid? Or, Izuku acts like Nedzu for a day. Kami help us all. Izuku gets a text in the middle of dinner. Kachan was the one who made it, so it's kind of spicy to Izuku, who grew up knowing the Bakugos well, even when he and Kachan weren't friends anymore, but maybe a bit, a lot, of his peers, and is the perfect comfort food after the day Izuku has had. And boy, it's been a day. From the fun that was expelling Mineta, who, still hasn't returned. Did Sensei take that seriously? Should Izuku be upset about that? To the awkward talk Izuku had with Aizawa-sensei, where Izuku ended up revealing his past quirklessness, sobbing as Aizawa realized just what kind of past Izuku had, and found himself crying into his teacher's shirt as the man hugged him and apologized. As if he was at all to blame for Midoriya's history. To him, Izuku. Izuku is tired and definitely in need of comfort. And so far he's gotten it. The hug that had done wonders, and now Izuku is struggling to recall if a teacher had ever hugged him before. No. The answer is no, they hadn't. Not since Izuku was deemed quirkless and worthless. The answer is no, because All Might is a mentor, and therefore doesn't count. The answer is no, because Aizawa is different in the best of ways. Kachan's food is a nostalgic reminder of the good in his past, even if it also reminds him of Izuku's awkward dinners, where Kachan would pretend to like him. Awkward dinners where Izuku strained his smiles as his skin formed new blisters under the long-sleeve shirts in the middle of spring. Even if it reminds Izuku that Aizawa now knows about their shared past, and seems to be all the angrier for it, and not as Izuku. But the text makes everything better. If there's one thing Izuku likes, it's analyzing things. Studying quirks, breaking down the subtle movements and expressions, and dissecting what they mean, figuring out the best ways to get around certain terrain. It's what Izuku lives for. Izuku lives and breathes analysis. His notebooks upon notebooks, with nothing but his thoughts and pictures that run through his head. The newest ones written in a code that only he can decipher. He likes to know, to understand, to comprehend the world around him on a more precise note. His analysis reflects that, and so does his acting. Izuku likes acting. He likes putting on a pretty face and letting the world know, and letting the world fall for the illusion. It sounds nefarious when he phrases it that way, but it's the most accurate way of describing it. He likes putting on the Deku persona, one that lets him be confident and sure and there, ready to save the day even if it means destroying himself. Apparently he can act as more than just himself. Apparently he's got a bit of a knack for the whole acting thing, if his peers' and teachers' reactions were anything to go off of. He'd been convincing as Kachan yesterday, according to his friends, and he's glad. He poured everything into that school day, from the messed up uniform to the way Kachan holds his pencil, even mimicking the boys' fight style. And today, as Aizawa-sensei, he'd fallen into the role seamlessly and completely. He likes it, likes knowing that he's got a talent that fits perfectly with his favorite hobby. And so, when he gets the text from Aizawa, he can't help but grin. Aizawa-sensei. If you fill out for it tomorrow, your person for tomorrow is Nedzu. Aizawa-sensei. What do you say, kid? Izuku's smile only grows as he types out a quick response, happily agreeing to the assignment. He turns off his phone right after, glancing up to look at his friends, who all stare at him in silence. Do I have something on my face? Izuku asks, and it's Sarah who breaks the silence. You're still grinning like Aizawa-sensei, Sarah admits, and Izuku blinks in surprise before blushing embarrassed. Ah, sorry. I guess it's become a habit. Please break that habit, Kaminari says quickly, tone edging into pleading territory, and Izuku can only laugh when his peers chime in with their own pleas. He lets his smile soften, returning it to its familiar form, and his classmates relax as it does. Dinner continues from there, and Izuku is happy when he ends up back in his room. The moment he shuts his door, Izuku sets to planning. He won't let Aizawa down tomorrow, because, Nedzu will be so fun to impersonate. Wednesday morning arrives, and the students of 1A head to their classroom. Some choose to talk with friends, but most keep an eye on the door. They're not wary, of course, nor are they tense or apprehensive, but they're definitely prepared. As they should be, considering how the past 2 days have gone, with Midoriya's explosive entrance on Monday and his snappy arrival on Tuesday. They have every right to assume that Midoriya will make an interesting impression on them when he walks through those oversized doors today. But when the bell rings, the only figure that moves is Aizawa, who slips out of his sleeping bag and walks over to the podium. Only half a second, Aizawa notes. I wouldn't suppose that you're waiting for anyone, are you? A few students shake their heads, causing Aizawa to grin. Good, because Mineta is officially expelled. A new student will be taking his place soon. A collective sigh of good riddance comes from 6 of the Class 1A girls. But a sharp hand raise from Ida causes Aizawa to call on him. Where is Midoriya? Ida asks immediately, and a cheerful voice answers. I'm not sure he'll be needed today. A collective scream can be heard that emanates from 1A, which is understandable. Most would scream, too, if a desk that had been empty was suddenly, decidedly, not empty. But Midoriya is perched on his seat, despite having been missing from the room just seconds ago. A sickly sweet smile that doesn't seem quite right plastered on his face. And really, the day only goes from there. When Yamada heard the screams in the middle of homeroom, his face dropped into an uncharacteristic frown. It can be reported that a few English curses slipped through his lips, but only Hitoshi Shinso can attest to that. The rest of the class, unfortunately, was too worried over the sudden shrieking to pay attention to the murmurs of their teacher. I'm going to resign, Yamada whispers, exhaustion and fear mixing in his voice, and Shinso winces in sympathy for the man. Sliding his phone out subtly, Shinso opens the group chat he's been forced into, by Midoriya, of course, because the boy takes I'm not here to make friends as a challenge that he will always defeat, and types out a quick message. Hey, so Mike Sensei's freaking out, and my class has started to flip, because, hearing an entire class shrieking is supposed to be unusual. Who is he today? Not a minute later, Shinso has a response from Uraraka. He grins and types out a new message. Can you get Aizawa to write me a free pass to slip into your English class for a few minutes? I need to see the reaction. A few moments later, when the class is finally settled and Yamada has regained his composure, Shinso gets a text message back. Uraraka. He says he'll give you the pass, but you have to record it. Shinso takes the deal without hesitation. A video is sent to the teacher's group chat. The camera is shaky as if the holder is trying to hold back laughs. They sit in the back of the room, camera aimed at the doorway. There are 19 students in sight. 18 of them sit perfectly still, looking somewhat petrified. The last, Midoriya, smiles brightly, almost eerily, and winks at the camera. For a split second, it almost seems like the boy has a scar cutting through his right eye, but surely that's nothing more than a trick of the light. Either way, as quickly as the image appears, it's gone, and Midoriya turns around once more to face the front. The person holding the camera takes a moment to readjust, allowing the camera to see Midoriya and the door at a better angle. From this point of view, Midoriya is in frame enough that his outfit is visible, and what a sight to see it is. Midoriya sports a white dress shirt, and a red tie, that is. For once, actually done correctly. With a black waistcoat on top, and matching dress pants, his signature red sneakers have been replaced by an orange pair, and his feet are swinging freely as he waits. The bell rings, and the door opens. Yamada walks into the room, his smile forcibly fake. Forced as if he's already regretting entering the room. He greets the students, but freezes when he sees Midoriya. And then he shakes his head and takes off his glasses, a hand coming up to rub at his eyes, and the camera zooms in. If a teacher were to squint and focus, they'd be able to see the way Yamada's eyes glisten with unshed tears of hopelessness. What a poor man. Midoriya doesn't show up for lunch. His friends are too afraid to look for him, so they ask Aizawa to check on him. So Aizawa sends All Might to Nedzu's office, claiming that the principal wanted to see him. All Might walks into the office and finds a sight that he never wanted to see. Midoriya, his boy, his successor, his protege, and child, in all but blood, sits across from his boss, who smiles widely, wider than he's ever grinned before. It's eerie and uncanny, and the smile is too big. It looks wrong on the creature's face. They don't look at him, instead smiling brightly at one another, over tea and chess. Not breaking eye contact or conversation, Midoriya moves a piece and says, "I must admit, it's a wonderful idea, but I don't believe that you're able to get the proper backing." "They'll back whatever I say, if I say it well enough," Nedzu retorts, moving upon. "And if there's two of us backing the same cause, the probabilities increase," Midoriya finishes, and then, with a final move, announces, "Checkmate." And Nedzu breaks eye contact first. All Might has never, in all of his years, seen Nedzu look away first. A part of him wants to scream and run far away. It questions what Aizawa has done to make his boy so powerful. It questions how far this will go, if there ever will be an end, if his boy will ever come home. But Nedzu is looking down at the board, eyes glinting, as he sees he has been beaten. And then he's looking up, and smile doubling impossibly so, and the fear begins to take over every inch of All Might's being. "How would you like to come in for tea next week?" Nedzu asks. "I've heard about some interesting notebooks. Why don't you bring them with you next time?" "Same time?" Midoriya asks, and Nedzu nods. "I'll clear my schedule." Only then do the two geniuses look away, heads turning in sync to face him. With a chirp to his voice, Nedzu asks, "Was there something you needed?" All Might blinks, pales, turns around, and walks right back out the office. He decides to call in sick for his lesson. Surely the others will understand. The school day ends, and Class 1A sighs in relief as their normal Midoriya is back. All Might drops by the dorms, along with Yamada, to see their sunshine boy as usual. They find themselves at ease when he smiles his normal beaming grin. In the principal's office, however, two figures remain. Nedzu and Aizawa sit across from each other, the former nursing a cup of tea, the latter a mug of coffee. "Midoriya was quite interesting today," Nedzu praises, eyes fuzzy with recollection. "I'm impressed by how easily he picked up on my habits, especially considering the small time frame he's had to prepare." "Midoriya is one of my brightest students," Aizawa confirms. The answer pleases the creature. I think he'll become one of mine too, Nedzu decides. He's going to show me his analysis notebook on next Wednesday. We've set aside another tea session. If they're anything like his acting abilities, I do believe I'll be taking in a new personal student. You haven't had one in years, Aizawa points out, not accusing or questioning. It's just a statement, one that indicates how much the green-haired boy has impressed the creature. I have not, Nedzu agrees, and the room is filled with silence for a moment. But only for a moment, and then Aizawa is speaking up. I need you to book a meeting for me, if you would. He starts, and Nedzu perks up. Where to? Aldera Middle School. Then, as if it needs to be said, Midoriya's old school. I see. A pause, and then, is there any particular reason? Why? Midoriya alerted me to some rather alarming things yesterday afternoon. I have reasons to believe that Aldera is guilty of many things, including falsifying records for certain students and quirk-based discrimination. I'd like to confront the staff about this and see what they have to say. See what they don't is left unsaid, but both men are aware of it nonetheless. I'll do what I can, Nedzu assures with a sharp, toothy smile. You'll have a meeting by this weekend at the latest, if I have to say. Aizawa knows that the creature has much to say, so he walks out of his office with a wide grin on his own. Oh, how he can't wait for the days to come. That was Rat God Wednesday, written by Bellamont, read by the Viridian Ghost, part 4, I think? Hold on. Yep, part 4 of the Personality Swap AU. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This is the Viridian Ghost signing out. See you guys next time.